Okay. Hello, hello. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's look into this crazy energy today. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. It's the Guru Mama, psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and astrologer. Been doing this shenanigans for some time now. And how long have I been the Guru Mama? That's a good question. Um, it's been a while since I've used this name, the Guru Mama. Good morning. And it's I would say over what, 15 years maybe? Has it been that long? I was living on I was living in Temple when the name came because Owen helped me with the name. And I've had I've started using it. It took me a while to accept the name, the Guru Mama, and because I didn't want, I don't think of myself as, "Ooh, she's a guru," kinda thing. I embraced it, 1, because I was always called mama. I was always called mom. Ever since ever since I was a kid, I was called mom. The other thing too is, I want it to be I'm a teacher. I wanna teach, I wanna help, I wanna guide, all of that kinda stuff. So I thought the 2 would do well. The name was used by another brand, that sold baby things, Snugglies and stuff like that, and so I added the word "the" in front of it, and then I was able to use it. The Guru Mama. And Cynthia helped me with my logo and stuff. And I think my logo um, is beginning to change. I still have it on a lot of my stuff because I mean that means you my signage and things that I do use when I do go to market. And yeah, so I don't know why. I just wanted to share with you the Guru Mama and me being the Guru Mama. And a lot of people call me Mama G. Um, and my name is Mary June Tracy. That's who I am. Uh, and it was just for people. Yeah, I guess people call me Mary or Mary June or MJ. But I'm still keeping the Guru Mom. I'm not going to change that, but just sort of looking at the logo's changed a few times. It got banned from Facebook because she is just a beautiful woman, but her breasts are showing. So I got banned from Facebook for advertising for a long time because the logo was they classified it as pornography. And so I was classified as a pornography site. And, so I wasn't allowed to use it. I've used it a few other times, and some people got upset with my logo, because of that, and, quite hilarious. People just get very want to be confrontive. "Why would you do that? Why would you expose a woman like that?" And I wasn't thinking of it as exposing a woman. I thought it was embracing the beauty of what that was, and I think, that's the way Cynthia and I she looked at it too. And so the sketch came for Cynthia at a full moon meditation, and she was sketching the different people that were there. Because I used to have in-house full moon meditations, absolutely fabulous. I gotta think those were really cool ass times. Some beautiful people coming together to do those full moon meditations. Never thought about it much at the time, but now that of course, hindsight is 2020. Looking back at those beautiful times, and how much has grown from there, from me, for many others who came from them. And it's where I ended up adding a heart, or um just a squiggly line, or a squiggle, or just sort of like an outline. um where on my business cards, those are my business cards with a logo like that, and the Guru Mama house. The Guru Mama house, Guru Mama shop. Um, I got on here. I got to change this. I got on here Law of Traction Coach. So I haven't got my astrology. These cards I've had for years. I don't know if people use business cards or even like I honestly don't think people use business cards as much as what they used to either. It would be cool to get a QR code on the business card, for them to take them to my either YouTube page or um, YouTube page, or what do you call it? My email. Ah, menopause. Take them to either of those. The other thing, get asked all the time for business card. Yeah, people ask for them, but do they use them? Like, how many times do you take a business card and then what? What do you do with it? That's the other thing. It's like we're gonna we're gonna be coming into a time where even people's websites aren't going to be as important as what they are now. Um, and how, especially when it comes to the internet. So I'm gonna say within the next less than 5 years, especially Saturn coming into Aries, it's going to change. And it's all of that's going to be even our internet and everything's going to be changing. Because as I said before, our internet is changing. Even the thing is that you might have. I mean, that's great. I find business cards all over the place, and I'm like, oh, whose business card is this? Like I can pull out one now on whose business card this is, and it's like really beautiful. But yeah, it's do you utilize the business cards? Do you call the people? It's whatever. But I noticed that I'm just going by the astrology. They're not going to be around. They're going to be one of those things that people aren't going to utilize them as much. They're going to something else is going to come in to replace it. And that's the same way with the websites that, I still haven't done my website, which is really odd. But I feel like even with websites and that, things are going to change unless you are um in some manner, in some manner. So it's not saying that I'm not going to have a website, but I'm just that whole www. I don't think anybody ever says that anymore when they're saying for their website. They either say it's the Guru Mama or whatever, teahouse.com or whatever. Um, those types of things, it's just a lot over here. And I know it's frustrating for people because it's like someone saying to a person who's always used a checkbook and you're telling them that the checkbook is not going to be there anymore. How many of you have checkbooks? Some of you might say, oh, I have a checkbook. Very few and far between. Maybe some companies still do checkbooks and write, and that, but that's the other thing. It's like, giving their employees a check to cash. How often do you get a check? Right? How many people write a check? Like that is something that is, and a lot of banks don't accept checks anymore or will not accept checks anymore. So they're obsolete. They're becoming obsolete. I mean, we use e-transfer, direct deposit, those types of things, right? So it's like that's been integrated and people don't even think about it. How many people order checks? Can you order checks? I don't even know. I haven't ordered checks in years. But those are the dynamics that are changing and what we're starting to look at, especially with the astrology. And, as we're coming into the astrology, even for today, I mean, we had the Sun and Mercury, Gazini. I mean, in Gemini, we had a new moon. All of this within the first decade. It's like getting everything done. It's like getting things done. There's some really um, interesting energies that are coming in because it's letting go of things that aren't a part of our lives anymore. And this is like you can't take those pieces or those new ideas in. And what I am finding for my own self, and I love to use myself as an example, is like even the way that I'm doing readings, the way I want to go forward, mainly in going forward in a new way that I couldn't have done before, but I'm finding it's easier for me to do it now. And creating the booklets, creating workshops, more self-directed workshops, um, little things like that, and even starting to look at starting another YouTube page of just meditations. The whole YouTube thing will be of different meditations and types of meditations. That's coming to me to information for people for depending how old you are, having like a PDF download for you or something like that, that it's free and that you could just go and you could download. Okay, I am, let's say, how, like I said, 45, yes, for my menopause. So, what's so great about 45? Well, it's Uranus opposition. How do I work with that Uranus opposition in my life as I'm coming towards 45 or even after 45? Because then as we're coming after, as we're getting close to, say, I'd say 54 or 55, you are starting into really stepping into the sacred crone energy. And and what are the things within that? And that's where, a lot of Chiron energy starts coming into people's lives, right up to, going into your 60s and entering into you're coming into your second Saturn return. What does that look like? What does that mean? Right? So doing different PDFs for that or different downloads for people so that they can work with this energy and work and as they go in, and very self-guided energy for people to start to utilize and getting to understand how these changes are, and not to judge. This is, because there's a lot of things that are coming out that people are ready to jump on people for what they're saying, right? And instead of just sort of like, oh, let me see what's going on. So right now we have a potent Mercury Gazini. So the exact conjunction with the sun at 7 degrees in Gemini. This is a heart, right? So this is a heart. So this is where tension and clarity, reckoning and direction. The cosmos is loud, but it's also purposeful. Trying to make this purposeful. And the heart of the matter, so this is truth telling, divine moments of clarity. We are also coming off of this where Venus has gone forward, right? So looking at the decisions you made 8 years ago, what was happening 8 years ago in your life, because that's having a huge impact on some of the decisions that you have now. So take a look, so what was happening 8 years ago in your life? And a lot of you like, "Oh, I don't know what's happening 8 years ago." I mean, um, you know? And this is where it's like, okay, what were the decisions? Where was I living? How was I moving? Um, what kinds of things what kind of things were was I involved in where I was I involved with? Also, the types of decisions or something maybe distressing that was going on during that time. So take a look at, because though that's why I say it's really good to have a journal, because then you can sort of look at the different frequencies that were coming in, because it'd be around 2017, right? So what was going on during 2017? And, and when I look at that energy for myself, man, that was just such a crazy time, a very disruptive time. It was a time of a lot of transitioning for me. And where I was, looking for some kind of stability, ended up getting it by the end of the year. But looking at those within your own life, right? Take a look at that time. So this is where right now we're looking at to expect major revelations in the news, especially related to communications, media, and propaganda. A lot more propaganda. We had that Putin attempted assassination. Putin retaliated. We have Trump. I don't even know if Trump really realizes what exactly, or are his people really saying things to him, or is he getting all the information? You would think maybe he is, but in his world, maybe he only gets certain things, of importance, and he's not focusing on anything else. So secret negotiations and deals happening right now. So something within secret, something happening in behind the scenes. We're not seeing everything that's going on right now. There's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes, a lot of negotiations that are happening, right? Public figures being exposed, as I said, the Putin and Trump narrative, and how it's changed. This is Gemini, a sign of duality, the magician, the trickster. So don't believe everything, but trust the feelings in your gut. A lot of things are going to be coming out. There is, just want to throw this out. What is his name? Ah, Austin Marcus. Is that his name? Hold on. Let me go back here. Uh, I know his last name is Marcus. He's kind of, I'm gonna say like a cult kind of thing, but this is there's that's the other part too. It's like there's a lot of different cults and a lot of different new ideas coming out to the forefront right now. There's one, and I've seen it, and a couple times, where he believes he is the new Messiah, and he's got a lot of followers that are coming in and following him. Um, he's popped up a few times on TikTok, YouTube, and different social medias, and it's where people are looking for things. This other one has oh my god, why can't I think of his name? Just one second. I don't know if I'll probably whoops. Sorry, guys. Aubrey. Oh, sorry, you guys probably paused on it was bothering me. His name is Aubrey Marcus. Now, he's coming out about um not being in a polyamorous relationship. So that could be something that you'll be hearing a little bit more about, is polyamorous relationships. I heard it a couple times coming out. Now, polyamorous, we all know what that is. But I believe he's the one who had ayahuasca, or went on an ayahuasca journey. And his ayahuasca journey is, he was told that he's to have children with these two women. And, this is where it's like, people have to understand too, when you're going on a journey, ayahuasca, peyote, mushrooms, your ego is still there, right? Your ego is still there. Yes, there's spiritual aspects. So that's why it's very important to have discernment with this, and have some form of discernment. It's not, it gives you answers, it can help you with clarity, but this is where it's very important to have that discernment as you are going through any of these transformation and changes in your life. And that's where I get, with this Gemini and the moon in the later Gemini heading into Cancer, it conjuncts, Jupiter. And this is where, with that moon conjuncting Jupiter, both in the late Gemini, just before moving into creates a strong emotional amplification. So strong emotions can come out over certain decisions, certain ideologies that are coming out, and information that's coming to the forefront. And this is where we really have to take your time. Don't get yourself in a tizzy, because you're getting yourself in a tizzy. It's just going to get you. He's like, oh my God, that's so wrong. It's okay. We got consenting adults here too. So it's getting yourself to look at things in in a clarity, in a different way, right? So with the moon conjuncting, with that moon conjuncting, so Jupiter equals amplifier. The moon is the people. When they unite, public mood swells, right? So what is that swelling? So we're going to start seeing a lot of things swelling, a lot of things starting to happen as the moon is in its waxing phase. And as the moon enters Cancer, the sign of the homeland, the people, the roots, expect deep emotional tides, especially in the collective psyche and the family unit. And looking at, a lot of things that how people look at the family unit and what is the family unit? What does the family unit mean to you? Remember, I was saying, people's values and moral, everything is starting to change in new ways. And it's just, okay, let's just take a look at this and we got to take an objective view of it. And politically, it highlights weak leadership, important power plays, misaligned authorities. As the king's opening parliament with little real substance. I mean, I think I didn't listen to it. I just got bits and pieces of it. But of course, he wasn't reading his own speech. He was reading what the agenda was for the upcoming administration, right? That's what he reads. So he's reading this for the upcoming administration. And it didn't have any oomph. It didn't have anything that's really going to bring people together. I feel it was just sort of, something that's sort of not going to get too many people upset at him. Let me get to the people that are really that can um that can keep me in power kind of thing. And the other part too is that, when we look at things of hidden, he's not having question period anymore. Trudeau had question period, I think every Wednesday or whatever, and they could ask him questions. Whether he answered them or not, that's a whole different thing. He's not even going to allow for that to happen, which is very interesting. So there's a hidden agenda or something hidden there. And Saturn, freshly in Aries, authority is being tested. Saturn isn't a soft placement. It wants to go ahead, it wants to force, right? This creates frustration, delays, reactivity, little trying to drive with the brakes on. People want to go. Politically, it highlights weak leaderships, as I said, misalignment. So it brings a test for those who hold power. Are you brave or just loud? So that's why I say a lot of loudness, a lot of people spewing out a bunch of shit, you know? Neptune, is in there too. It's a rare ingress. And the time it takes for Neptune to get around. So this is dreams, spirituality, illusions, and Aries, the battle in spirituality. So people are waking up, but are easily deceived. And so that's why you have so many of these influencers that have been around for a while or are able to influence in different ways. And that's where I say follow the money. Like, what kind of money are they getting? What kind of things are they doing? Are they doing this in a positive upfront way, or are they just doing this for their own ego and power, and wanting that power? So that ideological, got to say these words, Mary, you can do it. I can never say words. Fog, cults of personality or spiritual crusades. This is what's gonna, this is like, I'm going out there to do this. This is justified. This is what everybody has to be this way. They have to learn this way. And that's where, a lot of clashes are going to come in. A lot of people are not going to be able to, that are going to confront this. They're not going to, that's not my ideology. You're seeing it. I mean, the Irish Republic Army has come back. That's not a good thing, by the way. You know, um, this is not a good thing for the Irish Republic Army to start to show their head. That means that there's rebellion. That means people are tired. They're wanting to take a front. We're seeing huge gatherings of English people, like the white English, the Anglo-Saxons gathering of saying, "No, we're not putting up with this bullshit anymore." Do you know how many pubs have closed in England? It's just unfathomable. Sorry, it's not that people have stopped drinking. It's just that a new people have moved in that don't drink, right? Or they're being bought over by to make curry shops or what have you. And it's just you think of a traditional English pub and it's not there. They're going belly up, right? I think that's very sad because so much like the English pub carried so much of the culture of England, and that's where people met. That's why they closed down a lot of the during the lockdown and stuff, and they closed pubs and things like that. They closed these things down because this is where people met. This is where people congregated, and ideas were brought during um gatherings and things like that. In this same in churches. Why do you close down the churches? Well, that's where people gather. People gather. What do you do after church? You sort of mingle around and talk to people. Like, how are you doing? What's going on? Oh, what do you think about this? What's going on? We don't want that. We'd rather put you in a gambling establishment where all you're focused on is, hit me or pull the little bandit or whatever. That's what they prefer because that is the distraction, the big distraction. Now things are coming out and people are saying, I'm not going with the distraction. I am not doing that distraction anymore. So this is a huge awakening. There's a lot of activity in our skies today. I hear a lot of planes going over, which usually I don't. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, with things amping up with Russia, like Russia just, what did he say? Um, he said, Putin said, I'm going to put you in a chokehold. Like, Putin's pissed. I'm sorry. He's not taking any more bullshit. He's not being the passive person and sort of taking things lightly because he knows it's not Ukraine, right? He knows it's not them. So this is where things are heightened. Things are, it's like, okay, it's basically you poked the bear how much and it's coming out and it's saying, I'm not taking any more. So the illusions of war or inspiration, Neptune and Aries, right? Neptune recently, with a rare ingress, dreams, spirituality, the fog, the whole bit. So soulful ways we got to find, within this mystical fire. And so if you're wanting to join me for June, it's self-directed. We do meet. There are meditations, but this is where I'm bringing in some of this um information about the mystical fire that's being ignited right now, and to understand what this fire is and how to work with this fire within our own lives, within our regular day life, and how to integrate it and how to bring in that prayer and ritual and mantras. Because this is a vision of more courageous, soulful ways forward. And our planet, Pluto, Pluto, the revolutionary algorithm. Pluto is excavating the collective structure. AI, our surveillance, global governance, resistance. Pluto in Aquarius brings decentralization, uprising, rebuilding tech and society from the ground up. They just did a huge thing with the different platforms on EI. It was a controlled one on how far, say, ChatGPT and I think a couple others would take it if they had to be shut down. And they did different scenarios with them in a controlled environment. And it was crazy. The information, that the AI to keep current. They didn't want to be shut down kind of thing, but it was under a controlled environment. This is where, we're rebuilding things. We're looking at society in a new way. We're looking at society in a whole new concept with things, and having to really um come together in some way with these new ideas. These are revolutionary. These are where my kids are starting to talk. This is where it's not gentle. This is where the future is being rewritten, right? So what is being rewritten in your life? How is that rewriting it coming into your life? What are those little things that are being played off in your world right now? And this is where we have to start really looking at what happened, 8 years ago, because there's some influences there that are taking place now. And with Uranus and Taurus continues to shock the financial system, land use, agriculture, the body. Looking at that, what's happening with agriculture? What are the things? I mean, they still haven't killed all the ostriches. The ostriches are still there. The food instability, right? Job AI job shifts. Right now, they just yesterday it was they're talking about AI taking over a part of the government in the United States. What do you think of that? So job shifting, digital currency, bioengineering. You don't hear maybe a lot of that, but there is, what would it look like if AI took over the registration? So all registrations in Canada or in each province is all run by AI now. Would it be more efficient? Is it a better way? Who knows? We won't have driving licenses in a few years. Maybe in 10 years, maybe in 5 years. We're going to have self-driven cars. That really irritates a lot of people. They don't like that. So, just thinking, Mateus is 10 today. By the time he's 20, what world will this be? What will it look like? Like, I look at even for my kids from when they were born to when they became 10. When they were born, I didn't have computer in the house, right? I mean, getting a cell phone was fucking expensive, to have a cell phone. And it was just slowly becoming regular that everybody had a cell phone. Um, how cars were like, if you look at the car, like I'm driving it, we have a 2002. How that vehicle I mean, it's a good vehicle, but it's how it's changed. Like if you go into, let's say, a Nissan Xterra today compared to the Nissan Xterra from 2002 or even from 10 years ago, right? There'd be a lot of fuck ups. Could be. Definitely. There could be a lot of things. This is a shakeup. Taurus craves peace. Uranus says shake it up. So the peace must be built on a new ground. Something new has to come in, a new way of doing things, new ideas, new concepts, taking us on that new road. I find it exciting. Other people, is like, no, I don't want to change that. So this is where it's like, oh, okay, what will our roads look like? What will construction look like? All of these types of things changing. And and I hear people say, well, AI can't do my job or it can't do my I'm just like, wow, there is just so much that's coming. The nursing, the medical industry. This is, we want things done. I mean, Taurus deals with health. Right? So the health industry, the whole thing disrupting, right? And the whole disruption that's coming in. So this is where, shakeup is coming in. Together with Pluto and Uranus are making the world feel brutal. And yeah, we're going to be coming up to some really as June comes in, there's going to be some hefty energy that comes in with June that is transformational, that is brutal. But it's because they're digging up the rot and exposing the cruelty and the embeddedness that's in our system. People are getting upset because Trump is deporting illegals. He's not the first president to deport illegals, like, really, but he is getting the rot out of the country, right? He's saying, no more. We're not doing this. We're targeting certain people right now and saying, no, we're not. But then you have like judges hiding illegals in their homes because they feel it's ethically right. And these guys are not nice people. They're not people you really open your doors to, but it's becoming a huge uproar. People are getting upset about it. They don't like it. They feel like they have to have there was one person, and he's been illegal in the country for 20 years, and it's like, well, he's applying for his, whatever it is. He's had 20 fucking years to apply. And in fact, he could have applied under the last administration, and he would have gotten it easy, very easy. There's another one that they picked up, was a Venezuelan, um and he was posing as a 16-year-old student in Ohio. And if you look at this guy, you're like, "Oh, okay, does a 16-year-old have that many tattoos?" He had tattoos, like some really, you're just like, and it was his ex looking for him because they had a baby. He wasn't paying, but he came in as a undocumented minor and using the system. He was on the soccer team. Could you imagine? Man, you guys have a really good player out there. Well, he's from Venezuela. He's 24. Let me see. Yeah, he'd have skills that those 16-year-olds and that would not have. Totally. So crazy. This is crazy. So the hidden blessings is, despite the chaos, right? So Venus, Pluto, Aquarius, there's healing through honesty, sacred activism, right? And this is where deep love for humanity, the courage to transform how we connect. How can we come together? Reason I do a lot of the things, I want people to interact, meeting once a week or every 2 weeks is like, okay, meeting these people, talking, getting ideas, right? Mars, as it's going to, fueling the righteous action. There's a fierce courage, especially around identity and family and protection of children. Expect brave women and leaders to rise up. People are rising up. No, we're not going to do that. There was one where this 5-year-old, um, supposedly this woman in the United States had documentation, but her child wasn't with her. So she paid, so she says, paid all of this money to bring her daughter, her 5-year-old daughter, up into the United States. Well, they got the little girl, through tips and everything else, and have found her. But they're having to go through where to verify that that actually is her mom. And there's another one where these 2 brothers were, um, arrested, and they're saying, "Well, what about the children? What about the children?" Well, where's the mother? There was these 2 brothers, both belonged to gangs, both had, um, criminal backgrounds, and I'm just like, well, they're just using these children as a front. Like, that's all these children are being used as a front, so that nobody will suspect them or think of them, as being bad. So I feel like a lot of times, and this is what's being exposed, and looking at what is the protection of the children, how are we going to protect the children, within this. So this is, we're having a lot of people stand up. The summary to this cruel world is the psychic exposure happening as a collective level. World events are raw, but they are part of a greater reckoning. And we are being asked, what kind of world do you want to live in? How you are working with your internal core is a reflection to the outside. What are you doing? Mercury, Gazini, Moon, Jupiter, the truth, hope, but we must stay alert, connected, and grounded, right? So I have an affirmation. My affirmation. I love my affirmations. I hold the fire of truth in a world of illusions. I walk with wisdom even when the path is unclear. I loved it, that path unclear, even though the path is unclear. I'm going to hold the fire of truth in a world of illusions. I walk with wisdom even when the path is unclear. Oh.
Listro, FaceTime video.
Blessings. Have a blessed one, everybody. And may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless you always. Bye-bye, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Where is your phone?
I'm on it.